Salutations, my fellow dudes and dudettes, and welcome back to Kirby's Adventure! Last time we wrapped up, drawing a blank, a butter building, that's what it was. And now we're in Grape Garden. I mean, the aesthetic is a little close to grape, I guess. But there's nothing garden-y about this level either. What's with all these level names and the only ones having any actual meaning is the first one and the last one? Because, just a heads up, the next two worlds, they don't match their title at all either. It's like, I don't understand. It's like, the level is called Grape Garden, and also I died. Like, the level is called Grape Garden, and yet for some baffling reason we're in the clouds. Where's the garden and where's the grape? Stop naming stop naming these, just stop trying to cleverly name these without the level actually having some sort of impact. Anyway, we got Needle Kirby here. Needle Kirby is quite more of a defensive copy ability in my opinion. And basically all you do is like you essentially create yourself a shield full of spikes. If you're dashing towards an enemy and you activate the copy ability, you can use that, use it offensively that way, but again, you don't use it offensively, you use it defensively. That way, if an enemy tries to, like, fly into you from the sky, they'll just take damage because you're in, Needle form. Now, the reason I'm killing myself here is because you might have noticed that unique enemy there. That is called the that is a UFO, and it gives Kirby the most powerful ability in the game, the most broken copy ability in the game, the UFO Kirby. Unfortunately, I can't show it off here because UFOs are actually really hard to actually copy. Not only do they come into the screen really fast, and I only found this out recently after after my test playthrough. Real quick, this is Beam Kirby. You shoot essentially a bunch of beams of energy and an arc, and it like travels downwards. It's like you're making a little semicircle right in front of you. Little green switch actually brings up another minigame. But as I was saying, you're gonna find this UFO, and it's gonna like immediately jump into the screen. If you are not able to get the UFO ability from those two enemies that pop up in on screen, you literally have to reset the game. I killed myself in the hopes that I can actually load them that way, but nope, it is true. You have to load them. That's Tornado Kirby, by the way. You basically spin in a tornado for. You're basically a literal. You're basically a literal tornado. You can actually go up. You can actually use the tornado to ascend if you rapidly press the inhale button, or well, I guess the copy ability button, whichever you assign that to. I suppose for the game this was made on, the NES, it would probably just be the B button. But anyways, as I was saying. You have to reload the, you have to reset the game, because reloading the room, assuming you could do that, I didn't try that either, but that probably is not going to work either. Like, reloading the room, killing yourself, resetting the room that way, whatever, won't do any good. So, unfortunately, we're not going to be showing off that ability for a little while. We will get a chance to, which is why I'm not explaining what it does. But just know it's the most powerful copy ability in the game. That's all there is to it. I kind of feel bad for those squids. There's no water in sight, and yet they're just plastered here. It's like DDD didn't know what to do with them. It's like you clown-looking dudes. You get on balls and act and do some sort of circus performance. Well, okay, not balls, more like apples. You Gordos, you fly around and you just try to attack him. Squids, you jump around on the land, but we'd be much better in the water. Shut up, I'm the king! Or no, I'm not gonna reference that. I haven't even seen the movie. This part's really annoying because dealing with one of these guys isn't really bad, but you also have to avoid both of them. So what I recommend is you just stay in the air as often as you can, and then just shoot out the bombs when you're able to. Taking that damage was my fault. If I died, it would have been entirely my fault. So, but yeah, stay in mid-air, you should be able to avoid those guys, no problem. If you manage to inhale both of the bombs they throw, you can actually pierce the one enemy, being able to, you would be able to damage both of them. Like stuttering, like, ugh, that was terrible. Alright, remember that cannon thing I mentioned earlier in the playthrough? I believe it was last part, actually. Or the part before that, whatever. Basically, you're going to get these little ropes, you burn, a fuse, essentially. It's like you're lighting up a whole bunch of dynamite stacked together. It's basically what you're doing with that. You're gonna light the fuse, or you're gonna get to the cannon as fast as possible. That was just a precursor to the cannons you're gonna find later, and all it did was get you an extra life. I believe the later ones actually will help you find those switches, but just a heads up, that is literally the only one I was able to do off the top of my head. Because there's this one, and you'll see it soon enough. Well, not in this part, obviously, but like in one of the later worlds, there's a section that's just stupidly ridiculous with what they expect of you. At least until I realized the mistake I was making. And I ended up not bothering to get that switch as well. I'll explain when we get to that part. It still stinks, but apparently I didn't realize what I was doing, the mistake I was making. Or not later. This part's kind of annoying. You got this constant gust of wind blowing you back. So you're gonna have to like awkwardly float quickly towards the part of the screen, and that can be a little annoying. This part's not so bad, since the wind's pushing you in the direction you need to go. Again, it's called Grape Garden, but there's a bunch of battleships in this level. Why? I guess if there's anything grape related, the outlines of the platforms, they're purple, I guess. I think. I'm like really struggling to find an excuse for why these levels are called the way they are. Again, Vegetable Valley makes sense. Vegetables grow in around a lot of plant life, so you're in a grass-like area. And one thing I need to praise Kirby for that it immediately has it better over Mario, especially in this day and age, with the 2D Mario games or like Mario 3D World and such. Mario aesthetics are really boring when it comes to traditional Mario games. Kirby does it much better. I do believe Return of Dreamland sort of has that problem though, because Return of Dreamland has a grass level, a desert level, a water level. So Return of Dreamland sort of doesn't work in that regard. It sort of has this, a similar problem, but almost all the other games try to do something original with each level. Unfortunately, with Kirby's Adventure, you could argue that all these levels are sort of part of the same world, minus like the levels in the last world. You could easily tell that they belong in that last world, but with these levels, you could easily make the argument that they could be in Vegetable Valley because it's not like the levels are doing what they can to perfectly like match the theme of the level. They're just sort of doing whatever at this point. I cannot stand this mini-boss. It's actually not that bad, but its attacks can catch you off guard, because when he does his rolling attack, he'll immediately like grab you and do that little backdrop attack, like the Buzzy Beetle, like the Beetle does. The thing that doesn't make sense about this is the fact that it's doing the backdrop attack, but that's not the power up you get from this boss. But anyways, the biggest thing I would recommend is just stay in the air when you can, since you know Kirby can stay in the air for as long as he wants, and just use his little henchman as ammunition. This is Throw Kirby. You basically inhale an enemy, kind of similar to Backdrop, and then you use the D-pad to throw them in the direction you need to go. Since you're probably using a D-pad, it might be a little awkward for you to throw it diagonally. But if you are using a control stick, I'm sure it'd be a little more manageable for you. But I'm not a big fan of using a analog stick for 2D. I don't know, something about it just feels off to me. Now I love how Meta Knight gives you that invincibility thing in this level right here, and then like a level or two later, it immediately just starts sending more of his henchmen out at you. It's like, what the heck, dude? You were literally helping me like 5 minutes ago. What happened? That's one heck of a mood swing. I don't like this area. It's a little cramped. And that's a major I think the only thing that was in there was an extra life and some... Yeah, it was probably an extra life, which I'm stocked up on extra lives, and I'm already 2 hits left to go. So I'm probably gonna die anyways. Oh, see, look right here. It wasn't even 5 minutes. It was like 20 seconds. It's like, Meta Knight, what the heck is your problem? Are you trying to help me or not? It's like, yeah, I can understand if he's trying to test you. So why is he bothering to give you the power-ups to make you invincible? I can understand throwing me a bone, but if I have to be honest, I'd rather you throw me a bone in Worlds 5, 6, and 7. Oh boy. Anyway, I think I brought up Fireball before. However, there is one thing I forgot to mention with Fireball. Yeah, you're blasting through the areas pretty darn well, but be careful because you're no longer invincible when you like the immediate point you exited. Just be careful because there were times during the playthrough, I don't remember which one, whether it was this one or the test playthrough, where I used the Fireball, and immediately as I exited the animation of the Fireball attack, I immediately got attacked. And that is really annoying, and I hate it. Also, at this point in time, you might have noticed my life count. I died here pretty early. But we got 6 levels in the Grape Garden, and at this point, I believe every level except the last one will have 6 levels. So these parts will be a little bit meatier than the previous ones we had, because Vegetable Valley had 4, 2 and 3 had 5, and starting with Vegetable Valley had 1, Ice Cream Island had... I'm stuttering again. Vegetable Valley had 4 levels, Ice Cream Island, and I lost the level again. Like, how do I keep doing that? Oh boy. It's like an absolute mess. Oh, Butter Building, there we go. Like, Ice Cream Island and Butter Building have 5 stages. And starting with Grape Garden, all the way up to the final level, you're going to be dealing with 6 stages. So you can obviously tell this game is significantly longer. It's not saying much if we're comparing the 2 games. Heck, Mario Land is actually bigger. Mario Land, and especially Donkey Kong Land, are bigger than these games. Granted, I'm pretty sure those games came out after Dreamland, so I guess it's not that big. I guess it's not that important. Alright, you want to be careful with using Stone Kirby here, or just using any stone or hammer. If you don't hit the right peg, you're not going to get the extra life. You got to hit them in a certain order, and later Kirby games tend to do this a lot. So, don't get too impatient. Like, take a glance at the room you're in, and because if you make the wrong mistake, you're being locked out of the extra life. That sucks. But Stone Kirby, before we actually do the boss real quick. Stone Kirby, like Spike Kirby, is more of a defensive one than anything. However, it's a better, it's a better offensive weapon because you can crash down when you're in the air, and you can deal a lot of damage. Stone is pretty powerful. You're also invincible when using Stone Kirby, but just note that you can't move. Anyway, hey, Gordo's back. Kracko. Why did I say Gordo? Anyway, Kracko's back, and his attack pattern is a lot more interesting than last time. As usual, he'll throw enemies out because every enemy needs to. He also do this dive attack, but unlike that little beam attack he does, instead he does he actually shoots lightning down as a proper thundercloud would, and he travels across the screen. What I recommend you do is you fly above him when he does this, obviously. So, yeah, he's actually not that bad. I don't recommend getting there by floating. Use that high jump because otherwise that level's going to take a while, and high jump is the preferred way to attack him. So, with that said, we're done. I keep drawing the blanks with these levels. Whatever. Next time on Kirby's Adventure, we're going to World 5. We're pretty much halfway done this game, folks. So until then, I got a juice.